Hi, I'm Annie Ulichny, and I want to thank you so much for the gift of your time with exploring some meditation practice together. Very commonly, I hear from people that they're very frustrated with trying meditation and that it doesn't work for them. And typically it's because we're up in our thinking mind and it's kind of going very quickly, and we want it to slow down, and we want it to be able to have some control over it. And the thinking mind is our survival instinct. It has a very valuable reason for existing. It keeps us alive from any threats. But the problem is it doesn't know the difference between a threat in a text and an email and a threat of a tiger at your back door. So the thinking mind is constantly trying to look for threats. And this capacity sometimes just keeps us in overthinking about all of the problems that we have. And it is really hard to control. So sometimes if we want to control this, we need to come into here. And that is what we're going to be doing today. When we want things to slow down in our mind, we can start to pay attention to what's happening in the body. And naturally, the body will then send signals to the brain. There's no threats, there's no problems, we're okay, we're balanced, everything is okay. So we're going to work with the body. And the nervous system and the breath are both ways that have been researched extensively recently and over the last decade and more. And there's excellent research coming out and data coming out about how we can calm ourselves down. The nervous system works with the breath. They're very much together in keeping us balanced and healthy. And we're going to really deep dive and explore into the breath today. And we're going to actually feel the breath very deeply. And that is an excellent tool to not only understand more about how to use our breath for our better longevity and health, but also it automatically calms us down. It's really remarkable. So let's get started here and take a comfortable posture. And if you're seated, really pay attention to your sitting position, that you're very upright and dignified with your posture. So much so, again, that our rib cage is open and available in the front part of the body. So we really want to have a very open posture here as we start. And we can feel our hands are gently relaxing on our legs, and just feel that contact between our hands and our fingers and our legs. And we can close our eyes down and just remove the sense of sight so that it really helps us to explore the sensations of the breath more deeply today. And just start to ground into the here and now. We can stabilize ourselves as we get started here in the body. And any time during the day that you're starting to feel restless or uneasy, I encourage you to find this place of stability for just a minute or two. And I think that it's very valuable to feel it and very easy to stabilize through our feet, through our legs, and into our seat. Usually these are the places that are making direct contact with the ground, the earth. And really gravity is holding us here right now. And gravity is a very stabilizing, grounding, balanced force for us here. So we can just tap in to this stability of gravity. And it's kind of like a relief, just like, okay, everything is really okay, just in this moment right now. So we can start here, in stability, feeling through our feet, feeling kind of any electrical surge or vibration or energy through the soles of our feet, through our legs, through our sit bones and our seat. Again, we feel pressure in our seat because of the force of gravity stabilizing and holding us here. And we'll go deeply into the breath, but right now we'll just scan through the torso and come up to the shoulders. As I mentioned, our thinking mind, sometimes the volume is very high. We have this voice in our head that sometimes is loud or sometimes it's nonstop. It feels like it's pressing out so many thoughts that it's hard to keep up. And we can just start to feel kind of tired and fatigued by all of the thinking. And so this fatigue and this tension and this buildup can happen in our body. Our overthinking mind kind of starts to transfer some of this energy into the body, and it really builds up in our shoulders. Perhaps you could even notice your own shoulders right now, just feeling through the shoulders, even under the shoulder blades. If there's any tightness, pockets of tension, this dense feeling. And can we just come a little closer to the feeling in the shoulders, the felt sense, not what we're thinking about, but how we're feeling in the shoulders. Using our focus, the mind's other capacity is focus, being fully aware. So we could bring our awareness into our shoulders, and just when we do that, we might even notice that they start to soften and relax a little bit. Coming down through the arms into the hands. Again, feeling, not thinking but feeling, noticing any vibration, any electrical qualities we could notice through our arms and our hands. We just start to check in with ourselves and connect a little bit more deeply with ourselves. And this has a very significant impact on our nervous system and all of the other organ functions that happen in our body by checking in with ourselves. We could come up through our head, our forehead, around our eyes and the jaw, again, and just notice if there's any tightness or tension in different places throughout your face or your head. Can we recognize the tension? Make a little bit of space for it. And then perhaps by just making some space, we could soften and release some of the tightness and the tension. So one way to start to calm ourselves down when the overthinking has us feeling restless is to absolutely start in the body. Start through the body, connecting with what's happening in the here and now, just feeling what's going on, not thinking about it, but feeling it. And then we can really move deeply. Today, this practice and meditation practices sometimes are kind of active, because the more we can really feel the activity going on in the body, it will help us when we're not practicing together just during our daily life to start to notice these same things and work in these same ways that we're practicing right now together. So we're going to focus very specifically on the breath and really deep dive into the felt sense of the breath in a little bit of a new way today. The body, every single time we breathe, there's motion that happens in the body. The belly button moves out and in, so we could notice that as we get started here. So the belly button moves out and away from our body on the in-breath, and then the exhale, the belly button flattens back down toward the spine on the exhale. So just start to notice this rhythm of the belly moving in and out. And notice if you get pulled into thoughts, just come back to the feeling of the belly button moving in and out. We just start there to get us started with coming closer to the mechanism of the breath. And then we could add to it, in this practice, the expansion of the rib cage. And this happens because of the muscles within the rib cage, the intercostal muscles, and most of the work is really also happening because of the diaphragm. The diaphragm is one of the hardest workers in our body, in our torso. It works 24/7 for our whole life. And when we really start to pay attention to it, I'd like us to visualize the diaphragm. When we take a breath in, it's like a parachute filling with air, or like an umbrella. So air fills up in the diaphragm, in the lower part of the rib cage, filling up this parachute kind of type of muscle down there. And then on the exhale, the parachute of the diaphragm, it flattens back out, completely flattens, and it becomes flat down on the bottom of the rib cage. And then on the inhale, again, we feel this kind of parachute filling up along the bottom of the rib cage, and it's expanding our full rib cage out in the front and the back and also along our sides. So I'd like to really pay attention to this lower rib cage area for a few minutes here. So as the belly's going out, the next thing we notice is the rib cage is expanding on the inhale. We're not concerned with how deep our breaths are right now or how long they are. We're really just focusing on the felt sense of this lower rib cage area as we breathe in, filling up this parachute. So we really feel this expansion of the rib cage on the deepest part of our rib cage, the lowest part. And then on the exhale, it's like the parachute is just releasing all of the air that it had in it, and it's just flattening back down. So see if you can feel this. Really just feel it. We're not paying attention to anything except the felt sense. You could have a longer breath, a shorter breath. It doesn't really matter right now, as much as really becoming more familiar with the felt sense of this breath coming in, and the diaphragm is doing so much of this work, bringing the breath in and then releasing the breath back out. And all of this is happening in and out of the nose. If you need to get a tissue to blow your nose, if your nose gets stuffy, that's okay. You can stop and just take care of a stuffy nose. But let's just breathe in and out of the nose, feeling this connection from the nose all the way down, really feeling the breath coming in and out, fully supported by the movement of this diaphragm, expanding, filling with air like a parachute on the in-breath. So there's a full expansion on the in-breath along the rib cage, and then a releasing, flattening back out of this parachute, completely flattened back out with the exhale. So continue feeling this diaphragm action on the lower part of your rib cage as you inhale and exhale. And the exhale, everything contracts back down. And again, the belly button is flattening back toward the backbone, and all of the muscles are contracting back in along the rib cage, and the diaphragm is flattened. So try one more just to become more familiar again. Just along this lower rib cage area. That's where the breath is, where we're feeling it most right now. On this inhale, this lower rib cage along our front and even in our back. So the diaphragm and the muscles are doing all of the heavy lifting here, bringing the air in and out of the body. And this lower rib cage area, this lower part of our lung, is where we can transfer very easily and efficiently oxygen to the blood. So this is a really important part of our lung to be using as much as we can. So now this next breath we'll take, we're going to feel the breath not only through this lower lung area and where the diaphragm is really actively engaged, but then we almost feel the expansion along the rib cage and feel that our lungs are filling up, moving upwards toward the upper part of our chest. So there's this rising feeling starting at the lower rib cage, moving up to the top of our chest on the inhale, and then on the exhale we feel this shift of exhale moving from our chest down, 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 releasing all of the air, and the last to release is the bottom of the lung, the bottom of the rib cage. So we're expanding up, all the way up, and then releasing, starting up, moving all the way down. So try a few of those breaths as well. Expanding, now we're including the top part of the chest. And again, we're just becoming really familiar with the felt sense. This isn't about timing of breath yet. So now we'll add a 5-second inhale and exhale as best as you can. Try this for a few breaths. And if you need to modify that number, as long as the inhale and the exhale are the same rate and the same speed, that's okay. So we inhale for a count of 5. Use your own internal count. Filling up, starting from the bottom all the way up to the top. And then exhale for a count of 5. Releasing the air from the top, moving all the way down. Try another inhale. A very slow steady, really feeling the sensations. Inhale and then exhale, same thing. Notice all of the various sensations from the top of the chest all the way down to the diaphragm, flattening out at the bottom of the rib cage. Take one more together. Inhaling for about a count of 5. This is also a really great way to be very gentle with ourselves, which is important because usually our thinking mind has us kind of be a little harsh on ourselves. And when you get to the bottom of this next exhale, really see if you can squeeze out any little last drips of air on the bottom of the exhale. And if it takes you beyond that count of 5, that's fine. Just release and expel every bit of what we could consider stale air, the bottom of the lung, on this last exhale. And now just get a sense of the full body, how the whole body feels right now. If there's a sense of calm, peace, balance, if it feels restored in some way. Our diaphragm is a direct communicator to the nervous system. In addition to a slow paced breath, not only does it help bring us more quality energy into the full lung, but it also, a slow, deliberate breath like this is a great way to calm and stabilize and rebalance us. So breathing in this way gives us a double benefit. More energy, quality energy of oxygen coming in and being efficiently distributed to the body, and also a very calm, stabilizing nervous system experience for the body. This breathing mechanism truly is remarkable. And science is showing and teaching us more and more every year about how to stabilize and calm ourselves really in a matter of minutes. So I encourage you to use these techniques. Really breathe in the lowest part of the lung more frequently for longevity. Thank you very much for your time.